Good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting of the GBI RFP Selection Committee to order in accordance with City Ordinance 64102 and Revised City Ordinance 64103. I will take the roll. So Christina Garmendia.
Present.
Okay. James Sykes.
Present.
Grace Kyung.
Present.
Kelly Anderson.
Present.
And Treasurer Lane, I am also present. Second item on the agenda is the approval of the ARPA GBI implementation and data eval partners RFP. So process-wise, I'll entertain a motion to approve the RFPs as they are. Once there is a motion made and a second, we can go into discussion, questions, and any potential revisions that we see. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the RFPs as presented.
I do have an edit to the RFP before we move to that, but Christina, I noticed you had unmiked first if you wanted to start with any questions you have.
Yeah, I feel like we should do the questions and discussion before we approve.
Yep, but usually in terms of Robert's rules, it's so if there's no motion to approve, then it's almost like it's not going, it's kind of dead. But so yeah, we put the motion up, talk about the edit since it's on the table, and then
I'll make a motion to discuss the RFP with the intention of approving it by the end of this meeting.
I'll second that. I can second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments about the motion on the table? Okay, all in favor? Let's do it that way.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right, go ahead, Grace.
My note on the RFP is the issuance date. It's listed as May 5th. I would like to change anywhere it says May 5th to today's date of May 8th.
It seems like there's two main components for the scope of work. One is the application portal, and then there's the application processing piece of it. So I'm wondering, are we asking nonprofit partners to have an application portal partner in mind, or we're asking someone to have all of these skills in their skill set? Yeah, so I was just wondering if we're expecting a single organization to apply, or whether we were going to have different organizations apply with different aspects of the skill set, or we're asking them to partner.
So I'll take the first crack at that. It's really up to them. So what we've seen in previous but similar RFP and direct cash assistance is that these organizations usually they do talk. So we're allowing entities to apply to all parts or specific parts of the RFP. So if there's a nonprofit entity that feels that they can do all of that, they can. If they feel like one of those pieces may be out of their wheelhouse, we are encouraging them to collaborate with a partner and be able to bring in a partner on those other elements. So they can apply to all parts or some subparts of the RFP. And I believe that language is in there, but if it is not, I believe we did make sure that language is in there, Grace and James, about that they can apply to all parts or certain parts of the RFP.
I don't remember if that's explicitly listed in there. Of course, you all can add that as an edit if that is one Christina is recommending we put in.
Yeah, I'll make a note to make sure that that's explicit.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, there's a couple of different sections that could go in. Under required qualifications and certifications, you could say City of St. Louis is seeking an implementation partner or team of partners.
Mm,
to support the office with implementation of the program. Yeah, because based on my read of it, it sounded like you were expecting a single applicant.
mm.
Um,
So I'm hearing possibly two edits then, an encouragement for teams, but also to allow people to apply for parts or the whole. Is that correct? Okay,
Yep, I would say so.
wonderful.
and maybe make it the same kind of change to the required proposal content. So under element C, organization, information, background, and capability. So it'd just be like organizations with the parentheses.
And that's under what section? I'm sorry.
8.
Okay.
Required proposal contents, letter C. Yeah, I think it's like just emphasis that there's 2 components of this RFP. It's the application portal and the application processing. Is that, Grace, is that accurate with your and James?
I could see how one could read it that way. So I think it's fine to make that explicitly clear so we don't cause any confusion.
Yeah, because I do think like we're asking for the organization that does application processing is able to, I read it somewhere else, basically counsel the person. And it didn't seem like maybe a technology partner would also be able to do that. Okay, that's all my questions. Kelly, did you have anything?
I didn't see anything. I don't have any questions at the moment.
So with that, I'm happy to make a motion, Treasurer Lane, if that would be, if you and James don't have anything else to share on this RFP. Okay, so my motion is just to reiterate the couple changes that are being requested is changing any of the May 5th date to May 8th. And then also making it clear that this can be a team or more than, or an individual can respond to a certain part of the RFP. And James will make both of those edits.
So
Yeah.
what is your motion?
Oh, to approve this RFP with those changes. Thank you.
I can second that.
Okay, so it's been probably moved by Grace, second by Christina. Any questions or comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it. The RFPs are approved with the changes. Okay. So we're good. All right. So I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
No, sorry. We have another RFP.
Okay, so we only discussed, I thought the
Implementation partner.
Mhm.
Okay, sorry, I thought that was the original motion was to discuss changes to both RFPs. Is that not did we miss that?
So this, I mean, to discuss it, this, I put all my comments related to the implementation partner. And those changes were to the scope of work.
Gotcha. Okay, so I
So we
will,
probably need to look at the scope of work for the evaluation RFP just to make sure there isn't similar or different changes.
okay, So would someone like to make a motion to discuss those?
I'll make a motion to discuss the scope of work of the data and evaluation RFP.
Is there a second? I will second. Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it. So we are discussing the data and eval SOW.
An edit I will request for this one, as well as changing any of the May 5th dates to May 8th.
For this one, my question is about, given that for an evaluation partner, are they gonna be, I think we need to put in here somewhere, whether they're gonna be allowed to use this data for any other publications other than the report, just being clear about the data sharing, if it's limited to just an internal report that goes to the city, or if they're allowed to, I could imagine some academic partners wanting to produce, submit to a journal or something like that. So does that make sense?
It does. Do we have, I know one of the things that we've been talking about in initial conversations is that, of course, we don't want any personally identifying information. And I think that's obvious, but are there any specific city policies around data sharing that we should be following, to your knowledge?
That's a good question. I don't know if we do have a policy. It might be something that we discuss with the applicants and put in the contract. So, that way we can look into what are the city requirements, or do we have any policies, either capital P or small p? But maybe it's an element that we put in, we asked them to submit any other interests. I'm trying to think of the quick way to phrase it, quick edit.
Something about potential uses for data beyond this program. And the need for that approval to come through the city.
Wouldn't that more so be in contract negotiation, or if we call someone in for, I guess, presentation, that we would discuss that, not more so in the RFP language?
Yeah, I think that could be true.
But I would say in the RFP language, probably to include a line that says any further use or any use of the data outside of the scope of this project will be subject to approval by the city, just so that is known. And then, yes, during the RFP process, we can, if they bring that up as something that they want to do, be able to discuss that.
Yeah, I think one of the questions we would have is how would you protect the data of participants? And that would be, I think in a contract we would have you have to delete all the data, right? You can't keep any of it. I think that would happen in the contract, but.
Or something, maybe any potential data or information would belong to the city of St. Louis, subject to approval by the treasurer's office or something like that. Could be in the RFP, just so they know that the data, when they bid or apply, however you want to say it, that the data would not belong to them. It would be the city's data going, from jump.
There might be a part in the scope, the last part of the scope of work. So the scope of work for this program on page 7, after the report on findings, the last bullet should be like basically like the closeout bullet to responsibly delete or return any data that the organization is holding.
Mm.
The phrasing is not right, but that's that might be that's the last responsibility of the scope of work, is to close out the project.
Can you can you repeat that recommended edit?
So as the last bullet item for the scope of work, after the report on findings, to let's see, plan or return or delete any privileged data.
Mm.
There's going to be a better phrase. Yeah, disposal of research data. That's the phrase.
I'm curious if any of these concerns are held in page 15 with city data offshore use and storage.
Page 15 of the RFP.
Yeah, I'm reviewing it now to see if the language is held within that section.
That's about having data stored out of the country.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, so it doesn't include. Okay.
Yeah, so I would just put it's like the last part of the scope of work is data or disposal of research data.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously the city would want their, have a copy, but
Yeah.
not research partner to hold on to
Mm-hmm.
the data set. And just, I guess, IRB might have, I think it would be a disposal of research data in accordance with IRB. I think some places, I'm not sure if it's the standard, but they usually have to maintain the data, the research data for a period of years. So, so I think we'd want to be cognizant of what the requirements are. Okay, James, do you know what the edit you're making is, or?
Yeah. So would you like me to restate it?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So on page 7, last bullet point, I'll add that any responders will dispose of research data in accordance with IRB protocol. Does that sound good to all parties?
Yes,
Wonderful.
Sounds good.
Any other changes, comments?
there are none. Happy to make a motion to approve the data and evaluation RFP with the changes that were discussed on this call.
Great, I'll second.
It's been moved by Grace, second by Christina. All right, all in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Right, if that is all, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, it's properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.